on your back porch very soon.
All right, keep up the good work, guys.
All right, thank you, Gary Gupton, live tonight on the phone with us from out in Fern Creek. Well, let's go to Beth and see if there are any further developments. Beth, we're moving into Bullitt, Shelby, and well, even Franklin County as the areas in harm's way now.
Right, we're looking at the biggest area right now. This is actually a different storm that we haven't even had any warnings from yet. And not to say we won't, but we haven't yet. But as for the storm that in question, it's this one right here that you see on Doppler in the very northern part of Bullitt County and moving now Spencer County, Shelby County, really getting walloped. The exact same storm that Gary was just talking about. You can expect some pretty hefty hail from this storm. You just heard it from Gary Gupton, and we've heard it from a lot of viewers. There's just a tremendous amount of hail in this storm, and also a lot of winds. This is just such a big storm. It's such a tall storm that we've got also the possibility of having some straight line winds possibly do some damage. It's such a tall storm. We could get a few downbursts from this, but right now we're looking at a possible tornado, and it's pretty much in this area right in Spencer and Bullitt County. The last report we had was that it was moving east at about 35 miles an hour and was located just northeast of Mount Washington near Preston Highway. So in that area, this report came in at about 12:13, which was about 10 minutes ago approximately. So the tornado has moved east from there. So if you are in that path of the tornado, you want to make sure that you're in a secure place right now. Melissa said someone called her from her bathroom. That's a good place to be. As Melissa said, a lot of folks ride out storms in their bathtub. It's a good sturdy place. You've got thick, sturdy walls around you. You usually don't have any windows. That's a good place to be, and cover yourself up with a blanket and you're set to go there. You got your basement. That's a good place to be. Any kind of interior closet that doesn't have too much stuff in it that could fly around. Anything that doesn't have windows, you're in pretty good shape. Again, if you are in a mobile home, do go somewhere else to seek shelter. Gary?
Beth, we've got some really good news here at this point. The Floyd County Sheriff's Department informs us that they have not been able to locate any damage from that unconfirmed tornado that was reported in the 4200 block of Grant Line Road. So we still have no damage to report from the tornado sightings in Floyd County. Police are still checking in the area, and we may know more when the sun comes up tomorrow morning, but right now it appears that the damage has been minimal over there in Floyd County, despite that sighting of tornadic winds there. Well, JR is on the phone in Okolona. JR, what was it like when it passed through your place?
Well, we've had broken windows and everything else around here. One of our windows broke, and it blew everything up the stairs that was in this room, and it blew it in the hallway and everything else. And we've got like pea-sized hail, or not pea-sized, like ping pong ball sized hail.
Well, now you say blew it through the house. In other words, you think you had some at least high winds or perhaps tornado-like winds out there?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely high winds, maybe tornado winds. I'm not positive.
Tell me, what kind of neighborhood do you live in there in Okolona, and have your neighbors also been affected?
I'm not sure about my neighbors. I haven't got a chance to get out of the house yet. I plan on getting out here as soon as I can.
Yeah, you've got broken windows now. Is your house, is your family exposed to the elements? Have any walls been broken down there?
No walls, just the window like blew out of the track and across the room, and it broke.
Oh, God.
So that's about the only thing that's happened to us.
Have you been able to board that up and repair the damage in any way so you can get through the night?
Right now, we've just got like a blanket hanging over it. That's the only thing we could find. The winds were so high, I tried to put the window back in, and I couldn't get it in because the winds were blowing it back out.
But now things have calmed down in your area, huh?
Pretty much. I'm hearing sirens go off all around me, though.
Yeah. Any flood damage out there? Did you guys get a lot of water also?
We've probably got an inch of water in the streets. Cars are even having a hard time getting through the streets.
Well, this was a difficult storm. Well, we wish you well, JR, in putting your house and your life back together after this difficult time, and we appreciate you taking the moment at this difficult time to call in. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Let's go back to Beth and Reed with more on the storm. Beth?
You had some reports from the National Weather Service that they've pretty much felt it's going to let the warning expire in Jefferson County.
The warning will expire at 12:30, right on schedule for Jefferson County, the tornado warning. It will not be extended. Weather Service feels that Jefferson County is pretty well out of the woods at this point. We are getting reporting of flooding in Madison, Indiana. Hubcap deep water there. Quite a bit of hail out in the Camp Taylor area, too. Of course, that's not that far from the Weather Service office. They had 3/4 inch hail there. And we have had some reports that possibly some people may have been hurt this evening on Central Avenue when the storm
Well,
moved
I can
across.
imagine. That's what I was going to say. I was very concerned about all the people out partying tonight, because you can just imagine having those hailstones. We're talking about golf ball size hail, ping pong ball size hail, and that's huge hail to be hitting you if you don't have shelter. So we're just hoping that those folks, at least most of them, got shelter.
To get a storm this intense at this hour of the night or early morning, really kind of rare. It does happen. It seems like it happens a little too frequently around here, but normally you associate these big thunderstorms like this, these complexes, on a very warm, hot, summery, sultry day.
Well, I think one factor is that throughout the day our dew points have stayed up very high, and our temperature really hasn't dropped off that much. We were at 72 degrees at 11 o'clock. We're probably not far from that now. And so our temperature has been real warm, our air real unstable. We really haven't been able to just cool off and let the air stabilize during the nighttime hours. It's just stayed like a real juicy air mass.
The thunderstorm complex that we have watched, you and I have been tracking throughout the afternoon.
Right.
It moved across Illinois very rapidly, pretty consistently too, at 35 to 45 miles an hour, and has continued to do that through the nighttime hours. Let's go back to Gary now, who has some more information.
Yes, thank you, Reed. If you were watching our 11 o'clock news tonight, you knew that George Sells of our staff was out covering the party along Central Avenue. We have sent him now out looking for the damage, and he now comes to us live from Bardstown Road and the Gene Snyder Freeway. I'm correct, George, and that, of course, is out very near to where Gary Gupton was calling from a while ago.
Well, Gary, out here, damage is not the concern on the roadway. I-265 right here, not very busy right now. Just to our west, probably about a quarter mile, you can tell that the hail was very, very heavy. Driving on that interstate is just like driving through a snowstorm at this point. It is covered in ice pellets, about marble-sized pellets of hail, and cars are coming over a hill. There's heavy fog there as well. I believe it's probably from the coolness of the ice on the road going along with the humidity and the warm temperatures. You're seeing a lot of fog there. People are coming over that hill and they're hitting that ice, and cars are sliding all over the place at this point. It's a very dangerous situation there. A lot of cars have pulled off to the side of the road. Other difficulties on the interstates right now, the rain fell so fast that you're getting areas of high water along the interstate, and people are coming along and they're hydroplaning. Again, cars flying all over the road. I don't know what the reports are at this point on wrecks, Gary, but I wouldn't be surprised if there were quite a few of them at this point, because it is a mess out there on the interstates at this hour.
George, I know you also left Central Avenue about the time the storm hit. What was your experience with the storm, and what happened on Central Avenue? We understand there may have been some injuries down there. Did you hear anything about that? And what was your experience when the storm first hit?
Okay, I didn't hear anything about injuries, but it wouldn't surprise me a bit. As we were breaking down our equipment, marble-sized hail began falling. It was hitting us real hard on the head as we were pulling our stuff down. As we pulled out of the area, you could see people who had been out having a great time on Central Avenue just a few minutes before, sprinting for cover. There's an area called the TV zone where a lot of the TV trucks are, the big production trucks, and people were literally packed underneath these 18-wheelers trying to get any kind of cover they could. The hail was falling at a fast and furious pace, and it was one of those situations where it wasn't just a quick storm. It fell for a good period of time, it stopped, the rain continued heavy, people began to work their way out. Again, the hail started falling, and it would go for a good period of time. And there were about 3 or 4 bursts like that of about 3 or 4 minutes each. And so people would start to feel safe, and next thing they knew, they were caught in the middle of it again. It was falling very hard, and I can tell you firsthand, it hurt.
I know your driving path then took you from Central Avenue out the highway there. What was your driving experience like? Did you have water on the roadways, and did you drive through this hail business also?
Like I said before, there was a lot of water on the roadways in certain areas. As you got on I-65 moving south toward the Gene Snyder, and then once you got on the Gene Snyder here moving eastbound, a lot of deep water, I say deep, an inch, maybe 2 in some spots. It was patchy, but it was certainly enough to catch a car off guard, especially a car moving fast. The danger of the roads really is the fact that in some areas it looks very safe, and like that, you hit water or ice.
George Sells, from party duty to storm duty. in less than an hour. Thank you very much, George. Let's go to Beth Andrews, who's standing by with Reed Yadon, and we have another warning coming up, guys.
Well, it's a reissue of a warning from Spencer County. They've extended it. Spencer County, Kentucky, a Doppler-indicated radar, a possible tornado in western Spencer County. This would be just south of Wilson and Elk Creek, about 15 miles southeast of Louisville. Again, this is the part of Spencer County that's in concern. It was located just south of Wilson and Elk Creek, again in western Spencer County, and now we're seeing it start to move into Spencer County, central Spencer County. Spencer County has already been under a tornado warning now for about half an hour or so, but they're extending it now to 1 o'clock because there still is the threat of possibly getting some tornado activity, still a tornadic storm in that county right now.
The tornado warning for Jefferson County expired at 12:30, is not being extended, and there's no thought to issuing a new one at this point. The Weather Service feels that for Jefferson County, at least, Jefferson County, Kentucky, at this point, pretty well out of the woods.
And that pretty much goes along with our radar, because you can see that Jefferson County is pretty much in the clear. Where this is the storm we're looking at right now through Spencer and Shelby County, and Jefferson County, it has passed through, so that would make sense that they aren't reissuing a warning there. So luckily, folks in Jefferson County, you've gotten pretty much the worst of it. Now time to look out and see if that hail did any damage to your roof or to your windows. Or it was some big hail, and certainly capable of doing a lot of damage.
Storm moved across very rapidly, as we're hearing. We've still had no confirmed reports of any tornado touchdowns, but a number of reports came in. You've got to believe with that many reports, there was something there. And of course, a number of people are checking out those reports at this point.
And a lot of times, of course, it also takes until tomorrow morning when folks from the Weather Service can get out and start investigating the actual path of the damage, if there is any damage, to determine whether or not there actually was a tornado. But we sure treat it as a tornado when there is a tornado warning, because very often that's exactly what it is. And on NextRad radar, you can see how the path has gone. Look how fast this has moved. This is a 45-minute radar loop, so it has moved from across the Ohio River in Floyd County, swung all the way down into Shelby and Spencer County in a period of 45 minutes. This is a very quick storm, a very high storm as far as how far it goes up into the atmosphere, and therefore an extremely powerful storm. We've got a front that's triggering it, giving us the punch that we need for a very unstable atmosphere, and this has been a storm that's produced a tremendous amount of lightning as well. We haven't played up the flooding a lot because we've had so much else to worry about with the tornadoes and the hail and the wind, but there have been flood warnings all up in this part of Indiana, and there's also been reports of flooding on, Gary, didn't you say it was Eastern Parkway? There was a tremendous amount of flooding on an overpass in Eastern Parkway, and it's just various reports around the city of real problems with flooding. So if you're out driving about, make sure that flooding actually kills and injures more people than any other weather event. And if you are out driving and you run into an area where you can't see the pavement, don't cross it, because this has dropped a tremendous amount of rain, and we're still saturated from having a tremendous amount of rain this week. Gary?
Well above normal, especially for the month of April and now for the month of May. Reports now from Spencer and Bullitt County as the storm continues to move east. Reports of golf ball size hail totally covering yards in that area. They say, just as Gary Gupton indicated to us a short time ago, it looks like a steam bath with that hail covering the yards and steam coming up from it. They say it does seem to be calming down now. I might want to point out something to you at this point in our storm coverage tonight. Those of you may have recognized Reed Yadon. Reed comes on board tonight as our weekend meteorologist to fill in for Beth while she is filling in for Chuck Taylor, who is temporarily incapacitated due to medical trouble. Chuck underwent surgery this week. And Chuck will be back with us as soon as that is possible medically. But Reed Yadon has come aboard. Many of you recognize him from previous tours. A well-known and well-respected meteorologist in our community, and he has hopped right on board to help out as this storm developed tonight. He will be our weekend meteorologist for the next several months. Let's take a look now at some tornado tips, and if a tornado warning is sounded in your area, and as many of you know, the storm has now moved into the eastern portions of our viewing area in Shelby, Spencer, and toward Franklin County. So if you're watching up in the Frankfort area on Cablevision tonight, be sure to take immediate cover if there is a tornado warning. Many of you heard the sirens tonight, wondered if they were for real, and this time they were. Avoid open windows and move to interior rooms. Most people choose to go to the basement, and if you have a basement, that is the preferred area. But of course, if you do not have a basement, don't panic. Go to a room like a bathroom that has no windows, and then perhaps get in the the bathtub and take cover, because there are a lot of things that can be flying around, and you don't want to be hit by glass and so forth if a tornado, as perhaps you heard a gentleman call us from Okolona not long ago, a window blew out of his house.